There were times when I was watching my thoughts and emotion. I that time I see there was a strong intention of fear inside me. The fears was very intense that I feel like this fear. This is accumulation of fear of 1,000 years. I feel like wow, I have this fear, which is the accumulation of maybe all the 1,000 years of fear that I have, and all coming to me right now, or is expressing inside me at that moment. I was watching it, I was observing it, and I watch it, and I know that I have this fear, and again, it's for no reason. Usually, I have fear for no reason. Many times, I have fear for no reason. There's nothing really dangerous outside. So, I have this fear for no reason. So, I was thinking that what is fear? What that really is, and why it come, and where it goes, what is meaning. Because the fear I was experiencing was so intense, and I couldn't believe that there could be the moment that there can have that's a lot of fear inside a being, a human being. I mean, a person. And so, talk about fear. Fears. I think fear is a function of human to warning if there might be a dangerous happen to you. So when there might be there's potential of danger might happen, the fear function will active and warning you that there might be the fear for to keep you avoid the fear, avoid the fear will arise to keep you avoid the danger. So the fear function is very important for the survival, for us to avoid the dangers. So is a very important function. So how is that possible? A useful function that turn to the most and the most cause for human unhappiness. Why is that so that we turn that useful function into something that we label it as negative and should not happen in our life? I think that if there's no fear in us, this will be very dangerous because the fear function doesn't work. So if there is maybe the potential of danger will happen, we will not be warning to avoid the danger. But nowadays we really suffer this fear. This is a very common reason for our unhappiness. I think there are two reasons that we make one of the very useful function to become one of the most common reason for the unhappiness of human being. The first reason is because we create the false cause that make the fear function active. Usually it's active when there might be the possibility of dangers. However, the mind can create the false reason because this false reason the fear button will active, but there is nothing really dangerous in the outside world. Another reason is there could be hyperactivity. The fear function is hyperactivity, so that it's become very sensitive. Even there is no dangers in the outside world, it still label it as a dangerous situation, so it's active and makes the fear arise in us. So in these two cases, when the fear arises, but there's really nothing dangerous in the outside world, so that we experience fear inside us. And this fear is uncomfortable. This fear makes us worry, stressed, feel unskilled, and make our life unhappy. So this fear usually choose the fear function for it to be active. Usually we have accumulate a lot of scenarios during our lifetime, many lifetime, because you already know that the DNA they store the information. So that's why from this generation to the next generation and next generation, we still have the information of what's happened many years ago. So because of these reasons, so the information about when should be the fear, something that could happen like 10,000 years ago, we still store the information. And when we meet the scenario look similar but there's no danger, the fear is still active, right? Because the information is there. So for example, let's say uh maybe like 10,000 years ago, when we are still hunting, humans are still hunting, and then let's say we are afraid of animal, maybe lion, we are afraid of lion, and because there's this time that the lion attack a human, let's say one guy, this time the lion attack him, and then he's become very afraid of lion. Every time he see the lion, he feel a lot of fear inside him because the fear function is active to warning him this might be the dangerous. So this information stored in the DNA, and this in they pass through generation and generation, like for 10,000 years later. The still information stored us. this him this person who have the DNA of 1,000 years ago will be very afraid of the lion. So when you see the lion in the zoos, and it's actually in the cave, right? So it was the lion in the cave, so that's why there's no danger at all. But the moment you see the lion from far away, and even it's in the cave, and you know there's no danger, but you still have the fears that this lion might attack you, and then there's a lot of fear arise inside that make you feel like, oh, I may be going to die, right? So this is an example that how the fear function can be hyperactivity. For example, you enter a room which doesn't have enough light. It's kind of not really dark, but it's kind of lack of light that you don't see everything clearly. So there is a rope on the maybe on the table, and you look from the far distance and not enough light, and you think that it can be a snake. And then you feel the fear arise inside you to like, what, this might be snake, right? So this is when, but actually it's just a rope. So this is when the mind creates the false reason that active the fear function. So there's many times that the fear can arise inside us, but there's no dangers at all. The fear's function is very useful for our survival. If we don't have the fear function, if maybe one person become too confident that the fear function, he cannot feel when there's fears arise in himself. There might be some dangerous situation happen, and he doesn't have enough sensitive to feel the fear to avoid the dangers. So the fear function is very useful for our survivals. However, if it is a force, if it's come from a false reason, or it's come from because it is hyperactivity, so this creates it will active inside us all the time. That make our make us uncomfortable and make our life unhappy. So it's very important that you observe the fear arise inside you, understand the function, the um, structures of fears, like why it happened, is there anything dangerous that's around me, or just the first fears. So it's very important you observe your fear and understand that there's nothing to be afraid when fear arises inside you. It's a good thing. If you can feel the fear, it's a good thing because the fear sometimes can save your life, right? But you have to observe it, like to to know it, knows that there's nothing bad when there's a fear, but there's might be a warning. See the situation around you, see anything danger. It's just nothing danger, maybe it's just a false fear, right? All the thing that we say is negative in our life, actually it is very useful. All of them are the useful tool for our survival. They become negative because we don't have enough awareness to see is that's negative, that's what you call as negative is useful in these scenarios or it's not, because we don't see uh the clear we don't see clear the situation around us. Just similar like the Like same for if you see the lion in the cage and there's a fear rising you, so you know that if you observe closely, you know, okay, I have fears maybe because I see the lion and the information stored inside me say that this lion is dangerous, but it's in the cave, so the cave is safe. I'm safe at this moment, right? But if you see the lion that's weak is not in the cave, and this fear arises is very useful. It tells you that you need to run. You need to find a way to escape from the lion, otherwise the lion will attack you and you die. Okay? So it's more about our awareness. The fears itself doesn't have any negative. It's not negative or positive. It is a function belong to human, which we create to save our life. The moment it's turned to negative, it turned to the reason for our unhappiness is because we don't have cleared mind. We don't have the awareness to seize the situation around us. We don't have awareness to see what is actually happening at the moment, what is the truth of this moment. If we see the truth, we see it's clear what is happening. So everything will be fine. Everything is good. Everything is useful. So we don't need to escape from the fear. We don't need to run away from the fear. We don't need to avoid it. It is useful. And what we need to do, we need to raise our awareness. We need to see things clear as what it is without distorting the meaning of the thing that we see. We need to That's what we need to do instead of afraid of the fears or avoiding the fears. We need to face this and we need to see the clearest the environment that we are living in.